What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. For those of you that don't know who I am or what it is that I do, my name is Mo and I've been profitably trading since January, and I am the founder of Live Life Trading. We are a trading community of like-minded individuals, and our goal is to teach you how you too can be profitable investing safely in the stock market. Now, I'm just an average guy, right? I don't have an IQ of 200 or whatever you would consider being a genius. But I went from working every day for someone else to traveling the world, enjoying life, and literally making money from anywhere. And that's what we set out to accomplish with Live Life Trading. We want to take you out of that boring 9-to-5 life to sitting on a beach somewhere with a laptop making more money in an hour than you would working 8 or more hours in a day. Now, you might be thinking, investing in the stock market, isn't that gambling? Yes and no. There is a degree of risk involved with it, of course, but the stock market is actually quite a predictable market with the right training and the proper education. The odds are much more in your favor than they would be if you were betting on sports or gambling at the casino, right? Now, no one knows 100% if a stock is going to move up or down, but we at Live Life Trading, we use a series of indicators and trade based on patterns to give us a pretty accurate indication in the overall direction of the stock. Now, I'm not saying this is easy or that you can pick this up overnight. Absolutely not. Trading takes a lot of discipline, it takes a lot of risk management, and you have to be studying the market constantly to predict trends and keep your mind sharp. Keep in mind that you are risking your own capital for the potential reward. And the stock market is actually an amazing place for this, because when you learn the skills of the trade, the possibilities are endless. And of course, so are the profits, right? Essentially, you're making your money work for you. I'll break this concept down a lot more in a later video, but for now, I just want to recap my trade, what I saw value in, and what I could have done better, right? So I'm going to start sharing my screen with you guys. So here we go. So firstly, I want to show you my profits. Of course, from the thumbnail, you can tell what I did today. I made $380 today. I took one trade that netted me $330, and then I took another trade that netted me $50. So an overall total of $380. Right? So let me show you what I saw and what I did. This is Thinkorswim. This is the TD Ameritrade platform that I use to trade. I also trade with interactive brokers sometimes, but we'll get into that later on, right? So market open. This section right here is where, this is after market hours, right? So this is when market is closed. There are actually no trades happening at this time. It's just like the price levels. I'll go over all of that in my LLT video lesson library course, but for now, let's not worry about anything like that, right? So what I saw this morning, I woke up around 7 a.m. and I started looking at my stocks, right? And I saw Nvidia, and I saw this channel being created in aftermarket hours, right? So this is my support and this is my resistance. And when it comes to support and resistance, the easiest way to learn it is just by literally doing it, right? So I would recommend, when you're first getting started, just open up your software, go through all of the stocks that you have on the list, right? And then just literally draw support and resistance lines for an hour, right? So if I were to draw a support and resistance line for this 180-day 4-hour chart right here on Nvidia, I could do this for you right here, and I could show you exactly where all the support and all the resistance lines fall, right? So I've been doing this since January, right? So it's been quite a while for me. It is kind of like basic nature for me. Once you understand the concept, this is actually really easy, and it actually starts to make a lot of sense, right? So support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, right? It's literally the same thing. It's just the lowest points and the highest points, right? So what I did was, I saw this channel this morning, and I saw it was forming, and this is an open range breakout pattern. So when I invest, before I take a position, there are specific criteria that my stocks need to meet. And if they don't meet that criteria, I don't even take a position. Yeah, sometimes the best position that you can take is not taking one at all, because there's nothing worse than losing money. And I hate losing money with a passion. It is probably one of the worst feelings in the world, right? So what I saw here was, this is market open. This is 7:30 in the morning. It might be different for a couple of you guys depending on your time zone, but I'm in Mountain Standard Time. So market opens at 7:30 in the morning, and it closes at 2 p.m., right? So I saw this pattern forming, and I saw that it was breaking this resistance line, right? So I took a position right about here on this candle. And the mistake I made is I actually took this position a little bit too early, because the next candle that formed, it actually sold off, and I was down a little over $500, I believe, when I initially took this position. Now, not to worry, I saw the pattern forming, and I understand how the patterns work and coincide in the stock market. So for me, if you're a beginner, I would have recommended cutting losses if you don't understand what you're trading. But for me, I understand that this was still holding true to the VWAP, it was still holding true to the EMA line, and it was still above the SMA line. So I knew that eventually it was going to reverse, right? So I was down a little over 500 bucks, and then I saw this reversal happen, and then this pulled right away from this blue EMA line right here. See that? So I actually rode this all the way up, and I believe so let's see here, 733 is when I took my initial position, right? So that would be right here, exactly on this candle. And then I sold at 736, I sold 4 contracts. 738, I sold another 3 contracts. And 738, I sold another 3 contracts, right? So 736 is right here. So I actually sold right here, and I sold right here. So yeah, I could have waited until this candle, but I saw that this resistance was forming here from the top VWAP line. So I'm pretty conservative when it comes to trading. I leave a lot of profits on the table, and that's another thing that I need to get better at. But when it gets to a point where I am unsure of whether the stock is going to continue rallying up or going down, I usually just like take my profits, right? When it comes to investing in the stock market, profit is profit. I usually recommend taking profits, and I do this a lot. I leave a lot of money on the table. I usually take my profits long before, and the stock usually rallies and goes up a lot higher, right? If you can tell, this stock did nothing but go up. So I sold right here, and look, it went up another 1%, right? So I could have held it the entire time, but what I did instead was I sold, and then I saw the sell-off, and then I bought back in. So if I look at the screenshot again of this, so 742, I actually bought back in. So where's 742? Right here. 742 is right here on this candle. So this red candle right here. 742, I bought right back in. It did sell off a little bit, and then it started to rally up again. And then I sold at 746. So again, I bought right here on this candle, again, sticking true to that EMA line right there. And this NVIDIA is actually a really good stock for that. It actually holds true to the EMA line, right? So I bought in right here, I rode this up, and 746, I believe I sold right at this, yeah, right at this candle right here. So that was another $50, not much, but I mean, I went from, my first position was 330, and that was when I rode it up from here for about 0.85%, and then my second position went up like this. Now, because I trade options, options is completely different from this. Well, it's not completely different. It's about the same, but it's a different market. So if we go into like the options category, for example, if you can see right here, you can buy an options contract one contract is actually 100 shares of said stock. So instead of paying $289 for one share, I'm paying $3.75 for 100 shares. Okay, so my profits are multiplied by 100%, 100 times, because I have 100. One contract is 100 shares, right? So I usually go in with about 1,500 to 3,000 when I take my positions. And because of that, the profits are a little bit more exponential. But if the stock goes the opposite direction, then like I said, I was down $500 before it started to reverse, right? So there's something else to watch out for, right? When trading options, it's a little bit harder than trading the actual stock market. So I highly recommend learning how to trade stocks first. So I would learn how to do this with these $289. I know that's quite expensive, and I wouldn't recommend starting out by buying, I don't know, 3 or 4 shares of this, because you're not really going to see too much movement in these stocks. Like I said, 0.85% is not really that much, right? But when you convert it to options, because you're buying 100 shares per contract for a much cheaper price, you know, this percentage growth actually multiplies as well. So that's why I was able to lock in a little over 11% today. Now, for those of you guys that are still learning, I will be trading in the regular stock market as well with my overall account. The reason I started trading options was because I realized that a lot of people don't really have 25 grand or 30 grand to invest into a stock, and it's also pretty risky. I mean, when I first started out, I didn't really think that, you know, I was going to put $25,000 into a position in one day and, you know, take it out by the end of the day before that, right? So that's another thing with that too. So I actually started learning options because I feel like options market is a lot more profitable. You can also lose a lot more money, which is another thing to do with that. It's high risk, high reward, right? And when it comes to high risk, high reward, you really have to be diligent. You really have to learn the fundamentals of the stock market first. You really have to understand what you're doing before investing in something like that, right? Because the stock market, it's a risky business, right? It's not something that you can just like, it's not 100%, first of all. It is a little bit like gambling, but once you have the right education and the proper knowledge, anybody can do it and anybody can profit off of it. Like I said, I've been profiting consistently since about January, right? And I post all of my profits on Instagram. I post all of my profits on Snapchat. So check the link below in the description. I have my Instagram and my Snapchat posted. So if you want to see the profits that I make every day and you want to see that I'm actually consistent about it, you can definitely go check those out, right? That's pretty much it for now. I will be launching my Live Life Trading video lesson library course soon. So hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on. I'm also going to be posting a bunch of free videos to YouTube just so that you guys can see the value that I provide, right? The Live Life Trading lesson library is going to be a paid course, and I will make another video about why it's going to be a paid course, and I will explain my thought process behind that. I just don't want to take up too much of your time right now because it is something that is going to take a little bit of an explanation, right? So I am going to make a lot of free videos on YouTube, actually. They're going to be general knowledge, like basic kind of things. You might not understand everything that I talk about, but once you join the Live Life Trading community, it'll be a lot more structured of a course. It's going to be like a start to finish on everything that I have learned to this day from the stock market, right? So it's going to go like basically beginning to the end, how I started, how I started learning. It's going to be a video lesson library, and it's going to be a decent amount of information, right? You're going to have lifetime access as well. So you buy it once. It's not a monthly subscription or anything like that. You buy it once. You can literally have access to it your entire life. I'm going to continue to add new things to it as I learn more myself. Like I said, I study the stock market every single day. I learn new things every single day. And as a trader, that's what you have to do. You have to continuously study the market, study the trends, study the patterns, because the market we're in right now might not be the same market that we're in 2 months from now or 6 months from now, right? So you got to constantly keep your mind sharp when it comes to things like that. So I'm going to be adding, as I learn more, I'll be adding more information to it as well. And like I said, you have lifetime access. You can literally watch those videos at your own pace, at your own time. I know life gets busy and stuff like that. So it's definitely going to be an at your own pace thing. And you're going to have access to me 24/7. So if you have any questions, if you have anything like that, you're more than welcome to message me and I will get back to you within 24 to 48 hours, right? I'm also going to have a team of administrators in the group as well that you can also ask questions as well, right? So that's going to be my Live Life Trading video lesson library. Once again, hit that subscribe button. To be notified when it's released. I will be releasing it sometime late this month or early November. So keep that in mind. For now, I'm just going to post a bunch of videos on YouTube and stuff like that, just so you guys can understand what it is that I have to offer, right? And that's pretty much it. I'll wrap it up right here. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Turn that notification bell on because there are big things coming and you do not want to miss it, right? Remember guys, live fast, work smart, and let's stay green. Take it easy, team.